So welcome to my review of X Nordics. Now this is coming out for the Nintendo Switch, the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and for PC. And I'll ask you guys, are you picking this game up? Are you hyped? Are you an X fan? Have you been waiting for this game? Let me know down below. And I gotta say, I was very hyped for this game because last year I imported the Japanese version of the game and I played through quite a bit of it, as much as I could, not understanding Japanese. And I had a great time with it, but I said at that time, I can't wait for the English version.
A little close for comfort, don't you think?
And I fully played the English version, and there's a lot to get into today.
Move out!
Now, for anybody new to the series, they'll say, oh, this is X. I guess I had to play all 9 X games before that. You don't. You can pick this game up and jump into it right away because all of the X games do their own individual adventures. So this is its own individual adventure.
See ya!
Yes, this is with Adol and Doji. Those are the characters that are usually in every single X game, and they are back.
Hey, Adol.
All you have to know is that they're adventurers.
Right. Thank you.
And they always just want to help out the local people. So Adol and Doji are traveling to the Obella Gulf.
Smells like a new journey on our horizon.
And this is where Adol encounters the Normans. And they're kind of like a seafaring people.
The Normans are a seafaring people.
And he kind of gets drawn into this conflict between the residents of Obella Gulf and the Griegrs, which are undying monsters with a mysterious agenda. And he also meets Karja and teams up with her.
Shout forth the name of our god!
Now that's the no spoilers story. I don't want to talk about any of the story or any of the bad guys that come up later on. That's part of the fun for you guys to discover. So when you start the game, you can start with the many difficulty levels. You can start with easy, normal, hard, nightmare, and the crazy one, Inferno. And you can pick English or Japanese voices.
Hey! It's our lucky day!
The one thing that I do want to state to begin with, the one thing I'm really missing with the X series these days is the big anime openings. And we didn't get that with 9, and we didn't get that with this one. I in case I missed it, but I don't think I did.
We're ready to shove off.
I don't think that they're going that direction anymore. We have a nice little opening, but those old anime openings with the killer music seems to have disappeared. The one thing that X Nordics has going for it is so much gameplay. I'm telling you, I remember there was one point I was 30 hours into the game and I was still getting tutorials about brand new things that you can do in the game, and I'm like, this is getting crazy. So I'm gonna try to break this down the best that I can. So this is an action role-playing game. All of the X games have always been that way. So you can run around, you can also dash, which I really like doing. You can get really crazy with the dash as well. You can jump, and you can strike enemies with your sword. That is the basics here. And mana is used in this game in quite a few different ways. So you have the mana string to begin with.
Woohoo! Now this I like.
And that allows you to use a grappling hook. So you can grapple from one place to another, letting you go into brand new areas. And you can also use the mana string to pull things out. So that will allow you to get to other new locations as well.
Nice! It worked! We should try grabbing any other spots that look like they might budge.
And another thing with the grappling hook is you can use it to grapple onto enemies, so it'll pull you right close to them so you can attack them. I also really enjoy that. There's the Mana Ride, and I've got to talk about this for a second because I grew up, I was a big skateboarder, so to see Adol on a skateboard in this game, and it's called the Gullen board. It's crazy to see. I love it so much. And that's one thing about this is it lets you dart through a level really quickly. It also, you can boost over certain sections that will allow you to get into other secret areas. So there's a lot of ways to traverse the game.
Nice breeze!
And there's Mana Burst, and this gives you a certain ability. So Adol can go up and he can strike the ground and turn it into flames. And what that does, if there's any vines in your way, you just do that attack and it will burn down all the vines and you can get to the next location.
Burn to ashes!
And Karja uses ice. That's her ability. So if you can't get to a certain platform, you activate that attack and all of a sudden a big ice platform will show up and you can jump onto that to get to where you need to go next.
Switch! Burn to ashes! Climb off!
So in this game, there's a lot of different kinds of combat. Obviously, there's the normal combat where you just swing in your sword to do a regular hit.
How's that?
There's skill attacks that you can do, so you can assign a whole bunch of different skills and use those for a more devastating attack. And there's duo attack, and I love this. So this is where Adol and Karja link up by like a mana string, and they attack the enemies, doing double damage on everything. And I love that so much. And at any time, you can switch between different characters. So you're using Adol and Karja, you can switch between both of them, and they both basically have the same abilities, except their mana bursts are different, as I said.
Switch!
Switch!
And like past Ys games, it's all about figuring out the enemy's vulnerability and taking advantage of that. And I love it when both characters get together and unleash a major super attack, and both of them on the screen blasting the heck out of the enemy, and it feels so satisfying. So accompanying all of the attacks that you can do, and there's quite a few skills to unlock in this game, there is a skill tree. And you can unlock that based on the level that you're at and add different attributes to your skill level. And at certain times, you will unlock even more skills that you can add to your character and use. So that just covers combat, the basics of combat. There's a whole bunch of other things that you can do within this world. You can go fishing, yes. Cast your fishing rod out there into the sea and catch a giant fish.
Got a bite!
There's certain areas that you will see highlighted and you're like, hey, I bet there's some fish over there. And then you can go up and cast your rod and do some fishing.
That's it, huh?
But remember one thing, in this game, Adol cannot swim. So if you jump into water, you just die. And that just seems like too funny to me. I'm like, Adol, why can't you swim in this game? And in the towns, there's a lot of different characters. One thing that I really like in this game, and it's been in the past as well, when you go up and talk to a character, and you talk to so many NPCs in these games, they have a little blue icon above them. So when you finish talking to them, it'll change colors. So you're like, oh, I talked to this person. I don't need to talk to them again. I always love that in RPGs. And yes, there's shops where you can go and buy things, upgrade your weapons.
Real quality stuff, huh?
There's a lot of customization in this game. So yeah, you can buy weapons, you can upgrade those, you can buy better armor, you can buy medicine. Everything is in these towns that you can do that with.
I'll be rooting for you two.
And now I've got to get to the main point in the review, because it is called Ys 10 Nordics for a reason. Yes, Adol finally gets his own ship, and he doesn't fall overboard. I mean, we could never believe this in the past. Who would ever give this guy his own ship, where he gets his own ship in here, and it's a lot of fun.
Let's get this done, Adol.
There's major Wind Waker vibes in this game. When you're sailing off into the ocean, you're like, wow. You know, because you can change your camera angle so you can get right up close behind Adol, or you can pull out and just see the ship right there on the ocean, and you're sailing. And when your ship is brand new and you haven't upgraded it, it's pretty slow. And so there's sometimes when I was going to the next area and I'm like, looking and I'm like, this is taking forever. And it's one part of the game that I think might be a bit of a deal breaker for some people, because it is very, very slow. But there is slipstreams that you can go on to make your ship go a little bit faster, and you can hit the L1 button that gives you a boost.
All right, let's get the let out.
But you'll be spending a lot of time going, oh man, I'm really sailing across the ocean here. Boy, it seems like a long time. That's something that it does feel like.
You're a regular coxswain already.
To break up that though, there's certain icons on the screen we can go into and it'll activate ship combat. And that's a whole other element here that I love.
Enemy sunk.
I will say it is so easy to control your ship and it's so easy to attack with your cannonballs and your side attacks, and later on you can upgrade your entire ship, increase the speed of it and your arsenal.
Knock 'em dead out there.
And another really interesting thing, you might see a little ship just sailing out there and you'll go up to it and guess what you can do? You can trade with them. They're like merchants out there on the ocean and you can get special items specifically just from that particular merchant.
Need anything else?
And in some instances, you can get close to a ship that you're in combat with, you can jump aboard their ship and fight wave after wave of enemies to get other special loot. And yeah, as you're just sailing through the ocean, you'll see just special items that you can just sail through and pick up.
Well, this seems useful.
Okay, how about graphics and sound here? Let's get into graphics for a moment. How are the graphics? They're nice. I can just say that they're nice. Are they gonna blow you away? The answer is no. And I wanna say this in defense of Ys. All of the Ys games have always been a generation behind with their graphics and their look, but I really like the cell kind of shading with this and kind of the textures of the entire game. It gives it a really nice clean feeling, but if you're going in looking for like a AAA game with textures that are gonna blow you away, you're not gonna get it. You're gonna get pop-up on the screen as you're sailing, you'll look and go, man, there's not really a lot of detail at times and it looks really kind of bland, to be honest with you. But it fits the bill for me, and also I've noticed the frame rate is pretty good. I really never noticed a bit when it was dropping. I felt always, in control and felt really smooth. And so I think they sacrificed a bit of graphics to get the frame rate going. And you know what? For an Ys game where it's an action RPG combat game, it works really well and flows really well.
Form up!
So how is the music? The music to me has kind of a Monstrum Nox feeling, meaning that some songs are pretty good and a lot of it's very average for an Ys game. And that's, as we know, the Ys series has a rich history of incredible music. Killer guitars and crazy synth sections of that just blow you away and you're like, oh my god, I cannot believe that music. The music is good. It reminds me of Monstrum Nox that there's some good tracks and there's some average tracks. Overall, it pleases. You're not going to be upset going, oh no, this song sucks. None of the songs suck, but Ys has set such a level for its music that even to come here feels like a bit of a letdown. I wish Yuzo Koshiro would come back and do some Ys music. That would be fantastic. Do the entire soundtrack, please. Okay, here's where I get critical, and here's where I get into my final thoughts on the game. What do I think of X Nordics? I liked it. Is it a perfect game? No. Are the graphics okay? Yes. Is the gameplay fun and exhilarating? Definitely. It's like past Ys games, a lot of grinding through enemies, a lot of collecting the loot, going through the levels, finding secret treasure chests, using your abilities to unlock certain sections that you couldn't get through before. And there's a lot to do with the gameplay. I really see how they've been influenced by Zelda a lot more.
Hey, princess. Back already?
So the game really is big in scope. It's not as big in scope as I would kind of like. The exploration is good, but sometimes it stops you from going kind of where you want to go. Sometimes there's like a bit of land in your way and you're like, I just want to go past that. I want to go out to that section of the sea, and you can't. There's obstacles in your way to prevent that, which makes sense. You can't just sail on forever. It's more of an open world Ys game than they've ever done before. There's so much to explore with your ship. There's 40 hours plus of gameplay here. I mean, I was playing the game and I couldn't believe all of the different things I could do in this game. I was like, wow, they've really created another robust Ys game with so many abilities, so many attacks, so many ways to customize your character that sometimes it's a little overwhelming. You're like, wait a second, what ability should I use here? But that's part of the fun. And that's how the Ys series has really changed over time.
Take the shot!
It's really become more complex with adding so many more features. And I gotta admit, there's so many features in this game that sometimes I feel like some of them are underdone. I feel like, oh my god, I just want to like sail all the time. So you'll be sailing for a bit, then you gotta go back and do this and go back and do this. It just feels like sometimes that the game isn't altogether complete. I know that sounds like a really strange thing. I'm not knocking it. This is an 8.5 out of 10 for me, but I am also a crazy Ys fanatic. But there's so much variety in gameplay here that I think everybody's gonna be thrilled with that. If you're coming off 8 and 9, I know 9 left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths.
If only I hadn't run off all half-cocked.
This game is a beautiful return to more of an Ys 8 in that you're exploring islands, a lot of outdoor locations. Yeah, you got that in Monster Knox later on, but right here, you're on the ocean, exploring and discovering treasures. And I gotta say, this game is a treasure, and it has been worth the wait. Graphics notwithstanding, I think this is a very excellent game, and I really enjoyed my time with it. I can't believe I finished 10 Ys games, never mind all the side games as well. Guys, that is my review for Ys 10 Nordics. Are you picking up the game? Are you getting it? Maybe this review has changed your mind? Let me know down below. So anyways, guys, until next time.